Hello everyone, I lied to you because in the last video where I was improving the roster daylights and deception, I said I wouldn't do a video on this, and I lied. Because it turns out I actually am. Now that I'm looking at the roster more, I read some stuff that I would definitely change. So I do think it's worth making a video on. So yeah, the reason for this is because you look at this roster. This edit, by the way, is made by my ex. Brush. I can't remember the full name. But yeah, I'll link the edit where that came from on DeviantArt. Because this is quite helpful. Because if you didn't know MK Gold, you got your secret characters. At the bottom row actually, Noob, Goro, and Sector. Which is funny actually because Noob and Sector are also secret characters in a tournament edition of Mortal Kombat. So that's kind of interesting, kind of like consistently secret characters for that period of time. But yeah, yeah. What I realised, and the reason for this edit is because those secret characters are locked behind other portraits. Basically, they don't show up on the main roster. You have to swap around. So that's why this edit was needed. Basically. So with that clarified. We got 23 characters here. And that's why I thought, hey, this is quite a solid roster. You got a decent amount of characters. The same as Deadly Alliance, the same amount of characters by Gold. So it's quite decent. A lot better than MK4's base roster, which was just 15, which following Trilogy, that's not ideal. Although obviously Trilogy's and everyone is here game. So it doesn't sound like that'd be a decrease, especially when it's transitioning to this 2.5D style gameplay. But yeah, 15 was the same amount as base MK3, I think. It just, not a lot. Having 23 characters is a huge upgrade. MK Gold is a fantastic upgrade, I feel, in terms of the content. It includes like new stages, new characters, all that stuff. And also having like a weapon select. Like it feels so much more complete. So that's why I initially thought, I don't want to do video on this, but the more I looked at it, the more I saw a lack of trilogy characters, a lack of characters that debuted in a version of MK3, essentially. Because we only have 3 here. We have Sark, Sector, and Noob, 2 of which are the secret characters, which is quite strange. I also noticed, like, and I found quite funny, actually, is all the characters that become NRS mainstays are here, except for Kano. That's just funny to me. And even have like a Reptile and Goro rep in the MK1 NPCs. Of course, this is Goro's big return, in a story role at least. And I think the rosters are very good. I think it's spiced up mainly just because of the newcomers. That's the only reason it kind of stands out to me. Because a lot of these characters you see in other games. And that just makes sense because this is the game after the trilogy, which has the characters around in most games, at least recently. So yeah, I think it's a solid roster, but the lack of trilogy characters is quite shocking. And Daylines has the same thing, but Daylines, it's more justified, I guess, in the sense that the newcomers, there's more of them. Also, that game also has Cyrax. But yeah, not many. And there's also the fact that Deception 2 years later would bring back like 7 or 8 trilogy characters for the first time since trilogy itself, or Gold in the case of Noob, which is really cool. Because that game doesn't feel like it needs trilogy characters. It could have probably done with 1 or 2, but I genuinely don't know what you'd replace with. What I think the game, what Deadly Alliance was lacking from a story standpoint was MK4 returns. Fujin and Kai really should have been in that roster. I discussed it in my previous video. But yeah, I've never felt a lack of trilogy characters was an issue with Deadly Alliance. But this game, it's more of an issue. Because, firstly, you're directly following up on that game. And I don't think they write off many, like Deadly Alliance writes off a lot of the trilogy characters in one way or another. but this game, it's more ambiguous, so it's kind of odd. And I think there should be a few more than just the 3 here. Honestly, I probably changed noob. I believe the secret characters have unique movesets. I think they have unique special moves. I could be wrong. I think they do though. I know they're like behind the sort of certain characters. I know you have like Reiko and Cyrus who are comparable to Noob and Sector, but I believe they are unique. I could be completely wrong, but I think they are. For the sake of this video, I will treat it as such. So yeah, let's get into this. I mentioned I want to remove Noob, and I'm not sure about that. I'll have to come back to it, because the thing is, this is old Noob, you know, the one that doesn't really have much lore at all. It's just Brotherhood character. But the thing is, this is the Shinnok game, so it's kind of justified there. So I think if we really need someone else, I can get rid of him, just because he's more of a non-character. But it is a game where he fits into the roster, so I won't just automatically get rid of Noob. I mean, I was consider again. I won't be replacing any newcomers. Although I don't think there are any newcomers that should be replaced anyway. Like they're all very welcome additions. We got 2, 4, 6, 7 newcomers. Yes, that's right. So what I'm looking at, I guess we'll start in order of game then. We'll go to the MK1 cast then. Because we got 6 here. 8 if you include Reptile and Goro, but I'll just put them aside for now. Sonya Jax, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Scorpion makes sense because, again, NetherRealm stuff. I think his story's handled poorly in that game, but I'm not rewriting stories. Of course, I have to establish a role for a character I'm bringing into it, but I'm not rewriting a character that's already on the roster. That doesn't make sense. So he's welcome to be there. Sub-Zero also welcome, especially when you got the cyborgs. I'm fine with them being here. Johnny Cage. Now it's weird because it's basically a rehash of the MK3 stuff where he dies and then comes back from the heavens to help fight. It's the same here, and I like that. I think that's cool, but it is just a rehash. It's not. It doesn't really add anything that we didn't already get from Trilogy. So again, I'm sorry, Johnny, but I think you will be the first character I remove. Johnny moment, am I right? And I think we need Trilogy characters. That's the thing that will be changed. I don't think there's anyone from other games that isn't wrapped here that should be. So yeah, start with Johnny. I think Johnny can go again. He died. You can do Kombat from heavens again or whatever, or have him get resurrected in later game. You know, like I don't know the specifics there, but yeah, it just doesn't really do anything for Johnny because it's the same story essentially for his character. So yeah. Now the trilogy characters, I want to bring a few in, and I think the most noble ones are the Edenians because of course Edenia is a big focus on this game. It's the first game where it's back as a realm. I also Shinnok's attacking all the realms. Of course, at this time, we only know of 4 Outworld, Earth Realm, and Edenia. So it's good to have a match for those realms. I only listed 3. There's also the NetherRealm, but Shinnok already rules the NetherRealm, so that's not under attack. But of course, that needs to be represented because that is the enemy force. So that is quite a challenge there. And I think, there's so many Earth Realm characters already. So yeah, Johnny Cage is definitely one I'd get rid of. So if we're looking at adding another Edenian in, of course we have Sindel or Jade. Now, I'll see how it goes. I think ideally you probably want all the Edenians on this roster. Because again, first game Edenian is back. You don't really want to run off. There's also Rain, but Rain, Actually, no. No. Rain is absolutely a justified addition. Following up on like his ending, like turning on Khan, joining Katana or whatever. I wish that happened now. Fuck. Man, I don't know how I'm gonna get him in, but I feel like we need those three as your trilogy reps. Um, so Johnny, chuck him out. We got room for one of them, but I need to see if I can make room for those three because I genuinely don't know. I haven't actually like thought of the specifics for this video, so we'll figure it out as we go. This might take a bit. You also got Liu Kang, Sonya. They're fine here. Liu Kang obviously are the main hero. I don't think he should have beat Shinnok in this game, but it's fine. I can't change that, and you definitely can't just have him miss a roster for no reason. Raiden obviously should be in this game. The Heavens counts. So there's a fifth realm there. But the God War stuff, it's important to wrap that, and we already have that done well because you have Raiden and Shinnok, and then even one of the elemental gods, Fujin. So yeah, that's already taken care of. Thank you, game. So yeah, we might look back on the MK1 characters, but I'm kind of fine with having them all except Johnny and Ken are the ones you can kind of cut. Sonya is always like maybe, but I'd rather have her than not. And then the others, it just kind of makes sense usually. So let's look at the MK2 characters. You got Mileena and Katana. Again, if I want to rep the Adanian characters, they should be here. Katana especially. Mileena, it's weird because of the Shinnok ally thing, which I don't like, but because Trilogy was setting that up, I feel it should be followed through. And I guess same for Noob, actually. Noob and Mileena should be here, logically. Kung Lao, because he has that stuff with Goro, I quite like his appearance here. But he's not necessary, I don't think. But I'm fine with him being here. Now, Baraka's where it gets weird. Firstly, he's like stapled up because I guess Kung Lao cut him in half. That's why here. I don't even know if that's justifying the story. It's a weird fucking look for him. And I guess he's there because, of course, with Shinnok. And Reptile, I'll group into this too. Although Reptile is even weirder. Baraka, I don't even know why he's helping out. What does his bio say? I don't even know. Holy shit, I forgot that ending. I looked at the bio and it connects that ending where Quan Chi just fucks over Baraka, basically, in his own ending. He just strolls into Adenia, he's on his walk, and then Quan Chi said, like, hey, join me, and we'll roll Adenia together. That is so fucking weird. Absolutely get rid of Baraka. Holy shit. There is no place for him here. That is such a terrible bio. That's what no Earth wants here. Scorpion also is a terrible one, but it still makes sense that he's here. Because of Navarro stuff, Quan Chi stuff. It's handled awfully because Quan Chi just tells him that, Sub-Zero did it instead of the other Sub-Zero. My bad, G. And then he just believes him. And then in the ending, Quan Chi's like, it was me all along. This establishes that it's Quan Chi who killed Khan. I mean, well, technically it's mythologies, but they go hand in hand. So it's still important in that regard. But Baraka just actually wants to roll Adenia alongside Quan Chi. That is so fucking random. I completely forgot about that. Wow. Well, now that I know that, Baraka's gone. Baraka's gone, mate. Very weird inclusion. Definitely just coming back to here in gold, because fan favorite. But even if we miss out here, and again for these videos, I don't want like the context of other rosters to be different. Like I changed my Gay Alliance to Deception rosters. That doesn't apply to this roster, So just the other rosters around this would be the same. So with that in mind, Baraka's return Deception would feel even more special because that's his first return. I'm sorry, trilogy, obviously. So yeah, absolutely get rid of Baraka. I love him, but this is not the game for him, the poor guy. I think Well, of course, that's room for another Denian. I think we got the full room here because next up we have Reptar. And Reptar's weird because the story role given to him was not, hey, Zaterra's back or anything. Zaterra's not restored or anything, that was establishing Chameleon's bio or ending or both in Trilogy. I don't know the specifics there. But yeah, it's established there, and you got the Reptar and Chameleon and stuff. That's not followed up on this game. And this game finally shows us Lizard Reptar. He looks awful, but still. I think it's a really bad role for him, just serving Shinnok to bring his people back. Like, that's just rehashing the Shao Kahn story. And now it's even dumber, because Bro just wants to rule everything. Actually, no, it's less dumb, because Shao Kahn literally conquered his own realm. Shinnok hasn't done that. So I take that back. But it's still daft. Reptar with his fucking Stockholm syndrome. Like, oh, they're gonna help me, right? The villains are gonna help me, right? And then his ending, yeah, he fucking dies to Shinnok. Like, what did you expect, asshole? That's not even a bad ending. That's an accurate ending. Like, what did he think is gonna happen to dumb fucking lizard? Get him out of here. Get him out. He comes back in Deadly Alliance anyway, where he'll get to be a full lizard anyway. So. That frees 3 slots right there. So Sindel, Jade, and Rain can all enter this roster. And I'm 100% up for that. Of course, we lose a couple villains there with Rock and Reptar, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's not like in games like this where you have just bios and endings. You don't need any villain fodder. And even then, it's quite a lot because you have just the Brotherhood as a whole. That's a whole faction. And that's another thing I wanted to discuss is wrapping that better. Because we got to see Fujin come into this game, and he was in Mythologies. But of course, we don't get the same for Serena, Kia, or Chitaka. Of course, I had to pick one. I'd pick Serena. Because she's just the most prominent one and the one that becomes playable later on anyway. But I think she'd be important to have here. I mean, again, all 3 would be important. I wouldn't take these 3 characters I got rid of away to include all 3 of them, because that'd be a bit redundant. But I'd quite like one here. And by the way, I know Meat's technically in this game. He does not count as a roster slot. Let's just clear that up real quick. So I'm not replacing Meat. But yeah, I don't really know where they'd fit in. But again, that's another idea. Noob, I think, can absolutely stay. Now that I think about it, the whole Brotherhood stuff, the fact that he and Melina's stuff in Trilogy leads into this, I think it's absolutely justified. Even if I don't like old Noob because very vague. But same to be said for, I guess, a lot of characters, but Noob especially. So we got the Adenians here. I think all of them should be here, but if you were to cut one of those, I'd honestly say Jade, just because Rain, and I only say Rain is the one to keep of those 3, purely because of the fact that Rain, they fucked up his story. They never followed up on the trilogy thing. They just made him a villain again. And then they did the Sons of Argus bullshit. It's just... So I guess just because of that in mind, and how if he was in this game and it followed up on the canon stuff, then that would have happened. So actually, more logically, Rain should probably be the one cut if I were to cut 3. But I don't really see an issue with doing that. The Adenians are all very varied characters. I know Rain definitely was not a popular character back then. He's basically a joke, So I do think having him show up again would actually help him a lot. But he's absolutely not a necessity there. But yeah, with that, you got Melina, Katana, Jade, Sindel, Rain, Tanya. They're all there now with that. And I think I'd rather that than any other options. Because, I mean, if we break it down to more specific, Sonic's sector have their own stuff going on. Of course, Sub-Zero kind of... Sub-Zero's not really tied into that. They're tied into Special Forces stuff. Sub-Zero is tied to the Scorpion stuff, which is fine. Again, I don't think it's handled well, but I think it's something that fundamentally should be represented in this game. His bio is really weird, because it mentions, like, some secret he learned from his brother that could help in stopping Shinnok. I don't know if that plays as anything, and it's weird because that would tie to mythologies, and I don't think there's anything that goes back to that information. I could be wrong there, but I don't think that's ever referenced again in his bio, which is a shame. But his bio is pretty solid actually. Sonya and Jax, so of course they tie into Jarek's stuff, Last Black Dragon, and of course Cyrax's stuff. Helping Cyrax out. Sector's kind of just there, just because Cyrax's there. Honestly, Sector's stuff in this game is he's just doing cyborg stuff. He's looking for Cyrax because he went missing, and then he's basically watching him. And I mean, the bio's like got a really cool line because it says something like along the lines of I think. Like this will determine whether or not this is Cyrax's last mission. That's like fucking cool. But it's weird as well because this is like still the old Lin Kuei operating. He's just sent off to do that stuff. The Takunin stuff doesn't start into Torment Edition, so actually he's not necessary, even if he vaguely ties into Cyrax's stuff. And I love Sector, but this is kind of a nothing appearance, honestly. And his ending doesn't really add much. He just kills Cyrax and the Special Forces. And it doesn't... I wouldn't say it's contradicting anything with the whole... He's still serving, like, this old Lin Kuei, because they're not necessarily stopped. It's so weird how there's no, like, clear point in where the Lin Kuei changes. But come Daily Alliance, so there's just the Grandmaster. And that's another weird thing, is how there's not the Grandmaster in this game. He's completely unassociated with the Lin Kuei in this game, or at least he's trying to be. He puts on the costume again to help fight for Earthrealm. He's no longer associated with the Lin Kuei because of all the cyber stuff. And actually, I know that's unfair, because Daily Alliance does explain it. In Sub-Zero's bio, how him and Sector about it. Again, writing off another trilogy character in that game for Control the Medallion. And I guess for the sake of setting it up and how it still connects to the old Lin Kuei operating, I guess his name, Sector has a purpose. But it definitely is odd having this little period after trilogy where the Lin Kuei is still functioning normally. Although I say that, it's like that in both timelines. Technically, it's just strange to see, in a story aspect. But yeah, Daily Alliance does explain it. How Sector and Kai battling for the Dragon Medallion. Although I feel that kind of misses out the fact of what happened to like Sector's dad, like it's kind of out of nowhere. But it makes sense. You can like fill the gaps in Sector 1, take control because programming's fucked up. At this point, his programming is fine. But kind of like Torment Edition, and yeah, Brogo's a bit goofy. So I guess just because it kind of having this appearance kind of helps with that stuff, but again, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm not going to say this is a must change. But Sector you could trade for like Serena, maybe. So that's my last decision there. That took me a long time to figure out. Because I always just find it like quite a strange like bit in like the Lin Kuei time frame stuff in this period between Trilogy's events and Sub-Zero becoming Grandmaster. But yeah, I suppose there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, Sector you could trade out. But I think he serves more of a purpose than the three I got rid of though. So that is an an if. It's a maybe. Maybe you could do that, maybe you couldn't. So, yeah, that about does it for this video. So yeah, I put the Adanian characters in basically in trade for Baraka, Johnny, and Reptar. And Sector, you could change for probably Serena. That's our conclusion here. Sorry for that like whole fucking Lin Kuei tangent, me trying to figure out what was going on. But yeah, we got a conclusion. I reached a verdict. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that roster. And yeah, in the next video, again, I'm still not sure if I can do MK versus DC. Because I'm not doing the DC side, I don't care about it. I don't think anyone else cares about it. I just do the MK side, yeah. Which would just be wrapping like MK's best 11. 11 characters, essentially. So yeah, I probably will miss it. So the next video I expect to be more Kombat 9 because yes, there are changes that should be made to that roster. I know it's a trilogy retang and they basically all the trilogy characters, but I think stuff should be changed. And since it's not even like an exact replica of the trilogy roster, then there's stuff you can trade, I think. So yeah, that does it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.